Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your January 2019 love reading. It's Raina. This is the first 2019 tarot reading that I'm doing. It felt kind of interesting to say that year. So it'll be here before you know it if you're watching in December. Shuffling the cards. I'm also going to be picking a card from the Whispers of Love tarot deck. I mean, it's an oracle deck, I should say. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So the heart of the matter is the Three of Cups. This can be, if you're single, that you're just spending a lot of time with your friends. Maybe you will meet somebody when you are with your friends hanging out. In other words, it might just be this casual situation that you didn't even expect to meet somebody. You're just socializing. And that's how you meet somebody that you really hit it off with. In some cases, it could be that your friends are coming in between you and a relationship. And this can be because they notice that if you've met somebody and you're kind of like not spending time with them, that they're feeling left out, and then they start to make little comments, and really the comments are reflecting their own envy. Maybe they don't have relationships. So don't let other people come in between you and your partner. And also don't just totally shrug off what they're saying. Maybe they are being sincere and they notice something about the person that you're with and you are in denial. You know, it can go both ways. But sometimes when I see that card, I think of other people sticking their nose into things and trying to poison the well. And, you know, even on your end, if you're listening to these people, instead of doing your own thing. Usually Sagittarians don't do that, though. Usually they're their own people and they have their own minds. So who knows what's up with that. But the other thing that this card can represent is that you're with somebody who's womanizing, who is seeing multiple women. There could be alcohol involved. The cups are there. And who knows, maybe it's even a bar situation. If you're with a barfly who's always down at the tavern, it just comes, you know, the drinking bone is connected to the cheating bone, right? Because people are intoxicated and their sense of what's right and wrong can go out the window sometimes. Okay, so the foundation card is the Eight of Wands, and this is a card of things kind of fast and furious. You know, now I'm always going to think about that person that wrote me when I was interpreting the Eight of Wands and saying that's not what it means, and I can't remember, you know, all the details. But the truth is that you will, if you ever want to learn how to read the tarot, look in a lot of these booklets sometimes, or you know, even online. They'll tell you that you memorize what the meanings are, and then you put the meanings when it's right for you, or you can come up with your own meanings. And this is the intuitive part of it. So if a certain phrase or a certain image comes up for you, you kind of superimpose it onto the official meaning of the cards. And so I just, it kind of makes me smile because this person was adamant about it. And I was defending my position, but now I'm like a little bit afraid. What if that person is watching and they chew me out again? You know, the Eight of Wands to me is that feeling of, I'm not a big physics person, but, you know, that potential energy where it's like everything is pent up because things have been slowed down, and then all of a sudden the dam bursts and there's so much happening. And you could feel like this for whatever reason in your life. Maybe you were, you know, stuck in a relationship that was dragging you down and you were kind of like trapped, and now you're free. And that might be why, you know, because this is supposed to be kind of the past influencing the present. Maybe that's why you're kind of in a lighthearted situation now where you're socializing. And the other thing too is that any kind of festering relationship issues that never get addressed, all of a sudden, whether you find out for some, you know, in a surprising way that your partner is doing this, is seeing, you know, different women, and it's like you were already, you know, what's that term, like, you know, when you're tense, you're already wound up. Yeah, wound up. And now it's like everything, it's like all hell breaking loose. That's what I see with the Eight of Wands. Really what it means is things happening very quickly, a lot of fast-paced events, but in this context I'm kind of superimposing my own meaning on it based on what I'm thinking. And also, we could be dealing with fire energy. Of course, you're a fire sign, Sag. The other fire signs are Aries and Leo, if that applies to you. The card that crosses you is the Seven of Wands. Whether this is a past relationship or just your own emotional nature where you always are on the defensive, that could be talking about a challenge to a new relationship. So with the Three of Cups, I'm not suggesting that you're even dating right now. You may just be somebody who is playing the field, or you're just kind of being with your friends and you're not even looking for love. And yet if you do come across somebody that seems like they would be a good match, you still may be a little bit in this defensive posture, possibly because of a past relationship, or in terms of maybe this has been a recurring pattern with you, not just with one relationship, but with all of them, because of your own insecurities. And you could push somebody away because you're so in that mode of trying to prevent yourself from being hurt or being insulted or whatever it is that you're afraid of. Watch out for this, especially if your moon is in Cancer, which is kind of an interesting combination if your sun is in Sagittarius, or if you have Cancer rising, because that could definitely lead to you coming across in a way that you don't want to necessarily. The higher message is the Fool card. This is a card of that. First of all, the higher message is talking about this, maybe your spiritual path. The Fool card is like wiping the slate clean, starting from scratch, and also letting go of any baggage so that you're not trapped in the past. And because I do feel like with the Seven of Wands, that may be something that is kind of affecting your basic emotional patterns, and they'll come out in a relationship in the future. But also with the Fool card, it may be saying, you know, now may not be the time for settling down with somebody. Maybe you've left a long-term relationship. Maybe you have gone through if you're young, you have just started being on your own recently, and that feeling of being independent is so great. Enjoy that. I actually associate that with the Fool card, leaving home for the first time when you're 18, or maybe even a little bit older if you've been staying at home and going to community college or whatever, but you finally are out of the nest and on your own. And if you are involved in a committed relationship, then it's almost like you have to answer to somebody. You have to, you don't have that sense of total freedom, and Sagittarians love freedom. But especially just as a developmental thing, as going from one restricted environment to trying to become your own captain of your own ship, So that might be like part of your spiritual growth. So don't don't cut corners, and don't deny yourself that pleasure. On the more practical level, we have the Six of Cups. This is a card of soulmates. So perhaps some of you, or you could even say twin flames, I suppose. Some of you may have somebody in mind that is from your past, because this is the card of the past. And maybe there's somebody who you were with, and then somehow fate separated the two of you. And I think with twin flames, it appears that seems to be a common theme of the two people being forced by outer conditions to be apart, maybe parents, or they go to different colleges or something, and then they just go on with their lives, but they're never feeling totally whole, and they're always kind of yearning for that other person. So that may be that you want to hold out for a person that maybe you found out they're going through a divorce, or there's something that makes you think that the two of you are going to be reunited one day. However, if you have nobody on the radar like that, it could simply mean that in exploring, as the Fool card represents, which also means that you're open to life. You might not have an itinerary. You might not have any plans of exactly what you're going to do for the time being. By the way, the Three of Cups can mean celebrating something. So maybe celebrating a graduation or something like that, where there's a transition in your life. And the Fool card is that first card. So it's like you may be embarking upon a new adventure in your life. And yet the Six of Cups is almost like the past is somehow connected to it. So you don't want to allow yourself to be weighed down by memories and emotions. There's a total, sometimes that can be very oppressive when you allow that. And this is something that you want to avoid. You want to just explore. And Sagittarius is about expansion because of the ruler, Jupiter, which happens to be in our sign right now. So there's so much going on that is a blessing for Sagittarius, and you don't want to limit yourself by just picking any old relationship that doesn't meet the qualifications of a soulmate. What's coming in is represented by the Justice card. So this is a sign of Libra. Maybe it's a Libra individual. This can be a legal decision if you are separated legally and are getting a divorce. This can be that there's something coming back into balance in your life. Maybe there was a sense of imbalance. And I'm thinking with that Three of Cups, if you were with an individual who was really destroying your life and you may not have even realized the half of it until you left, then that makes perfect sense. Because if you're with somebody who has an addiction or who is lying to you, being unfaithful, that can really create a sense of unpleasantness in your environment, and that can keep you off kilter. You know, that's what I mean when I say off balance, off kilter, where you don't feel like yourself, where you don't feel like you even want to go home and face this person. And there's always this sense of dread. And that could also be the defensiveness, is that that person, by their very action, was putting you in that state, and that was not a good state to be in. So maybe now that you're starting to feel better. Now again, we're talking about January. I'm not suggesting that all of this is happening in 1 month. But if some of these themes seem like they make sense for you, whether you're single or coupled, or you want to get out of a relationship, then that's what matters. Obviously, this is a general reading for every Sagittarian, but the outcome is the King of Wands. And while this could be, yes, you're going to end up with a man who's a macho man, you know, a manly man. I mean, you know, this is a very masculine energy, because King of Wands, both of that is masculine. So just like the double feminine is kind of the very passive, very intuitive female energy. When I say the manly man, it's the man, the alpha male type of energy. And these are archetypes for male and female, and they can be kind of, what's the word, exaggerated, because usually no man is 100% macho and no woman is 100% female, although some really do seem like that, don't they? I think what this really is about is you, Sagittarius. I think that you are becoming self-empowered, and there's no card that is a greater illustration of that quality than the King of Wands. You know, the person who feels confident. I think that's one of the biggest things. There's a confidence that exudes from the King of Wands. And, you know, the best kind of confidence, when you really feel that somebody likes themselves, it isn't boastful, but at the same time, they aren't, people like this are not afraid to be proud of themselves and to tell other people. But it's not that they have to tell them every 2 seconds. It's not that they have to act arrogant. So it's something that you know when you see it, and you know when somebody's insecure when you see that as well. And I think that you are gaining in security in part because you might be having your own success. Even with the Eight of Wands, this could be about your work life. Maybe that's what you're celebrating, is because you're just having, if you have your own business, you have all these orders. Or if you work for somebody else, you're kind of like that, you just got another raise and another promotion, and it just seems like you're sailing up the corporate ladder. And maybe somebody in your environment that rubs them the wrong way, because it makes them feel inferior that you're a success. Well, that's on them. That's their problem. And you know, this person, if let's say you're a woman and you're looking for a man, this individual is going to be confident. And so if you're successful, they're going to cheer you on because they're not insecure like that. And they themselves are successful. So they are, you know, geared towards success, and they don't envy it in other people. They're inspired by it in other people. Okay, that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. And I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Have a great first month of the year. Bye.